Probably, maybe it's good for them to switch things up a little bit because it might become predictable, but at this point, I think they just gotta stick to their guns.
Play their strengths.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. And you've mentioned the same thing for Complexity in a way, Bambo. You feel like they got their own thing going, they're gonna stick to what they know.
They need to pick this Tiny for Limp. I think he's one of the best Tinies right now when he plays on a solo short lane. Not short, just scary. And he makes so much happen for his team.
All right, we're into draft number 1. Best of 3. Winner goes to the semi-final to play Vega Squadron tomorrow. OG are already through to that semi-final. They'll be playing Team Liquid tomorrow.
10 seconds remaining.
Nothing particularly crazy for the opening bans, but the Enchantress ban is that's kind of a little bit of a nod, I suppose.
Complexity is like purely focusing on Navi and not the meta.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Navi are kind of doing the same. I think the Darkseer Wisp is not something you see banned out unless you're playing against Complexity that much.
Darkseer?
Yeah,
I mean, Darkseer, you see this.
Yeah, we've been
Darkseer gets banned. Yeah, but I mean, it's not even. It's not every game still. I think a lot of teams they play against this Darkseer, they don't touch it in some games.
Okay.
Wisp is kind of a call ban.
So Navi has picked Slaughter every time.
They're dire. This is the moment.
They've also picked Dire as well when they've had the opportunity.
Exactly.
So, they were one of the few teams actually before the major that were always going for Radiant. I think they saw the win rates.
I think that was the one of the favorable mid matchup. I think.
5 seconds.
Radiant still slightly offers.
Well.
Wow. Okay. So no Slaughter on the first.
Complexity's turn to pick.
I think if Complexity have learned anything from recent tournaments, I think they should go into the Tidehunter. Riki is also a very good pick here.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, potentially ban out the Drow Ranger and the Lycan, I think, the second
10
phase.
seconds remaining.
You know, I actually prefer this opening from Natus Vincere instead of the Slaughter pick. Beastmaster adds the, you know, some kind of map control and vision the same way Stealth Assassin does, but he doesn't have to devote his hero to it. At the same time, those two heroes, as long as Dota's existed, combines well for the auras. And we're not going to see it because I strongly assume that Complexity is going to ban out the Drow. But that has been a pretty popular strategy as well.
Yeah. General also plays like an insane Beastmaster, in my opinion. His ganks are always like so unexpected. And
it leaves their strategy completely open because it's just a great opener. It's versatile. It can be put together with just about anything in the game. So they're not really revealing anything. They have a support hero and an offlaner.
Okay, CM pick 2. It's another hero that Navi also picked as well. So
it's quite early though, the CM.
Very early.
It is very early, and it's also a bit strange. I don't know if have they been playing the CM a lot?
Complexity? I haven't seen it at all.
Not a huge match.
Not that much, right? I know Misery likes this opening as well with Nakes and CM, but I think we ran it in some games and then it feels like it's a bad version of Nakes Lion with the Maiden.
This feels more abusable.
Yeah.
These two.
What does it give over the line?
I mean, you get the aura obviously. You can also jungle faster. You can bite the pig. You can kill it with one bite, and it's good in team fights as well if you get some levels.
Complexity's turn to ban.
Maybe
like even Witch Doctor will do a better job then.
Turn to ban.
Yeah, I think so too. Witch Doctor is also a good option.
So Nico seems pretty chill about it.
Complexity's turn to ban.
He seems pretty relaxed, yeah.
Almost like he's enjoying it.
I like the Crystal Maiden pick instead of the Stealth Assassin just because, again, it leaves your hand open. If you commit to the Stealth Assassin, you're already giving away a lot. Beastmaster goes for a Necromicon or an early gem.
The thing is, I don't think...
Wow, there's the trail ban.
I think it works so much like that with the Lifestealer. I mean, with the Riki. The thing about this combo is that when you have this Riki, the Hawk doesn't see a Riki running around. Oh. And the Beastmaster, if he's gone on, if you go initiate on this Beastmaster from nowhere, doesn't matter if he pops his book. He's not going to be in a position where he can roar you because he's clouded. So this Riki can kind of run around undetected because the
they
books
can
are
go
not
into
up.
an early gym and just run around from 5-man, and Riki won't offer much.
That's the thing. That's where Riki, I think you're wrong, because I think Riki is really good now in teamfights still because of the smoke screen. It's really strong.
And this Riki as well. When this Beastmaster is going to go jungle, you can just annoy him and like take his XP, take his farm.
So it's quite a smart start to the draft for Navi. They kind of realised that Complexity weren't going to pick up the Slaughter. They weren't going to ban it in the second phase either. They realised they could pick it up second phase, and
Yeah, exactly, because Complexity, and I agree with Complexity's bans here. Lycanthrope and Brown Ranger are the two heroes that they need to ban out because they combine so very well with the opening picks from Navi. So I think a great read by both teams, honestly.
I'm curious what Navi's plan is, though. Complexity, I mean.
Yeah, where do they go now?
I would have expected them to ban out either the Riggy or the Tidehunter, as you were saying.
There's the Tide.
Navi's turn to pick.
I think the Tidehunter is good, definitely.
Yeah.
It's a way to deal with this Beastmaster. You have the team fight. You know, you can no longer, Navi can no longer just go in.
You feel really strongly that that's why we've seen less and less Beast.
It's one of the reasons. It's also like people didn't really know how to deal with this Beastmaster, but then after a while you kind of started leaving this Beastmaster alone. You don't give him complete free farm, you give him some XP, but then you kind of just focus on other parts of the map. You don't want to give him too many towers, but at some point you're just going to take team fights, and this looks so much like
this is
a Navi draft.
This is the Sneeko Phoenix.
Yeah.
We've come to know this pretty well.
You think this is a one-position Slardar again?
Yeah,
It has to
I
be.
think so.
Yeah.
I think so. Don't see any other way they could play it. And I think that's totally fine against the Nakes.
10 seconds
They have a lot of
remaining.
damage still. They have late game with this Phoenix. He always offers you quite good late game.
5
They have the
seconds
Venge
remaining.
and the Beastmaster. They scale well together. And then this Slardar.
They have a lot of frontline. Do you think we can expect
Reserve
either the Invoker or a Wind Ranger coming out
They
from?
need like a glass cannon-ish mid-hero, in my
I
opinion.
wouldn't be surprised if we see something. Either as Tinker, Wind Ranger. What else is there for Dendy?
Invoker?
Invoker is one option.
I think it would actually be insane for them.
I think Tinker could be nice. There's no catch for Complexity right now.
The EMP Invoker isn't half bad either.
EMP, yeah, the Quaswex Invoker could be played as well. It's something, if it was MVP playing, then I would be all aboard. But we did see Navi, they played the Quaswex Invoker earlier today, so it's possible.
With limited success in the early game of that particular
Yeah.
game.
Yeah, actually got.
He died a lot.
He got
did.
really
He got
murdered.
soloed by the Crystal Maiden twice.
Got murdered
Yeah.
in that mid lane. In the early game, anyway. So Complexity with a couple of picks left. Lich is the next one. They have been playing some slightly out of the meta
This is,
heroes as well,
this is a
haven't they?
support duo I hate because they're
Yeah,
both so
same.
squishy. And once you go past the laning phase, you don't really have much to offer.
I was just about to say that as well. I think this CM Lich support combo, it's very squishy.
It's the overkill
10
from
seconds
It is.
remaining.
something that was popular like 6 years ago, but
Yeah.
we've seen 4 positions are always a bit
5
greedier
seconds
nowadays.
remaining.
Yeah. They're committing really hard to winning the lanes. The Lich armor is, sure, it's good against Slardar, but Navi have a lot of damage with this Phoenix, and they still don't have any way of dealing with this egg, and there's gonna be books and summons running at you, and you're gonna be amped up. It's gonna be hard for you to deal with that egg. If they commit the Nake's Rage to killing off the egg, then they're not gonna be able to kill so many heroes.
They've run plenty of different heroes actually in the group stage. They ran a Necro yesterday. They ran an Ursa.
Complexity?
Yep. They had an Elk.
Alchemist, yeah, good ban
And
from
they've run,
Navi.
and then they've run a Timbersaw as well. So yeah, there's the Elk ban.
Could they still go for a tiny and dual lane?
Complexity?
Yeah, dual lane the
I don't
mid
think that works anymore.
with the Lich?
I don't think you want 3 melee cores against
10
this.
seconds
It's way too hard to play
remaining.
Tiny here.
Yeah, I think so too. He kind of can't kill this
If he
Slardar.
jumps in, he
5
dies
seconds
pretty much.
remaining.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good Tinker ban there.
Complexities turn
They realize
to
that they
pick.
don't really have any catch.
Yeah.
I still think Windrunner is insane as well for Navi.
Windrunner could work.
They have like nothing against him.
Been a popular Dendy pick, isn't it?
A limp hero.
10 seconds remaining.
Yeah. I think they want something
5
that scales.
seconds remaining.
Can't really pick up puck. Feel like they're gonna fall off too fast.
Isn't Invoker
Reserve
nice for
time.
them?
Invoker could work.
Yeah,
but
Invoker is pretty good for them
they're
as well.
also
And
Navi's gonna
Exo-
run at them. That's what I feel. If there's a
Quaswex
Quaswex,
can kind of cancel it out.
Quaswex, yeah, but then I don't know if they're gonna have enough damage when the Slardar gets BKB.
He actually went Tiny. He's insane.
I think basically Milk is a genius.
Yeah, I told you it was going to be a tiny all along. I knew it.
Yep. what he said.
It's like there's 3 of them. Well, 2 of them.
10
Math.
seconds remaining.
So hard.
Good job, Milk.
5 seconds
Thank you.
remaining.
I would also like to talk a bit about me and my birthday. I want everyone here to wish me a happy birthday. Could you do that now, please?
I love having you two on the
No
panel.
one cared.
No one gave any
one cared,
care
that's you.
whatsoever.
Sorry.
5th pack on its way. Bit of time here for Navi as well. Where are they going? Any ideas?
Invoker or Windbreaker.
Any
Winrunner?
ideas?
I don't know about the game, but I really love seeing like this from Complexity. The whole team spirit and the brotherly bonding. It's always a pleasure to see.
Yeah.
And it's a Timbersaw. Okay. All right, very quickly, down the line, Jacob. Jacob 1.
Based on the draft, I think Navi got this.
Okay. Bamba?
Navi.
Navi? Milk 2.
Milk number 2. Limp Tiny. Yeah, okay. Sure.
Are you on board with the Limp Tiny?
Yeah, why not?
It's good, right?
Yeah, why not?
We've enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Gotta root for.
I'm kind of contradicting myself, I feel, but
Yeah, a little
I
bit.
gotta root for my Swedish.
Yeah. It's
My
okay.
Swedish
though.
brethren.
It's best of 3. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's all good. You got this. Thank you very much, all 3 of you. Let's over to our commentary desk now for game number 1 of the final series of the night.
Thanks, Paul. Yes, we're here to see which team will be the last team eliminated for today. Cap, Blitz, it's great to have you with us. What were your thoughts about the draft?
Well, Blitz kind of nailed the last pick instantly. I mean, the Timbersaw, it was like Timbersaw and Invoker both were, I think, going to trash Tiny. I'm feeling a little bit like Navi's lineup is superior, but I don't know. Some of it comes back down to the complexity supports. I'm not sure if I'm a fan of Crystal Maiden and Lich at the same time.
Yeah, do you find this a little too passive, Blitz?
Not really, because these are 2 enabling supports more than anything. I know what you guys are thinking. You see a Crystal Maiden and you see a Lich, you're like, oh, those are passive supports. They don't really do anything. But Lich, you're just meant to win the laning phase as hard as you can. The Frost Armor is quite good against the Slardar. It negates a lot of the advantages that the Beastmaster Aura gives you. And more importantly, I don't think Navi can properly exploit the Beastmaster Aura. So I know the draft or the panel preferred Navi's lineup, but in some ways I'm going to go with coL here.
My problem isn't necessarily the supports like focus too much on the laning phase. It's more the fact that if that mid lane goes down, don't feel like these are very good rotational supports. They're so focused on the side lanes that I don't know if that mid lane is going to go well for Limp, because the matchup was always going to be bad for him with the Tiny picked up before the opposing mid hero.
Yeah, I know you thought about Invoker, but I think Invoker gets like trashed in a game like this. I think you just get run over with the pace of the game. Because the way that Invokers play nowadays, if you don't do Quaswex, maybe Dendi goes Quaswex and it's doable, but you can just get jumped on by the Lifestealer and the Tidehunter, get blown up in 3 shots. And the way that Exort Invoker works nowadays, you can't straight up fight into that.
Yeah, we're seeing a separation. Like, I really like the Quaswex Invoker nowadays. I really don't like to see Exort too much. It feels like the mobility of the Quaswex and oftentimes some of the EMP hits, like for example, against heroes like Tidehunter, the quick tornado to be able to stop it's like a counter initiation tool in many ways.
Yeah.
To be able to stop the blink in Ravage and then be able to get off a good EMP. Maybe he doesn't even have a Ravage for that fight. But Timbersaw, definitely the better pickup. Obviously, he's going to really abuse that Tiny, and he will also abuse the other cores. Strength heroes all around. They don't have an incredible amount of lockdown.
They've got burst, though.
But they have a lot of magic burst damage, and that's the thing that Timbersaw has to worry about.
You hate playing Timber against heroes like Tiny, just because he drops on top of you. He does a boatload of damage instantly, and it just makes it really difficult to do anything in a game like that. But
even his physical damage, like he's only going to get 1 or 2 hits in, but it's not going to proc a whole lot of reactive armor, and it's going to do a lot of damage.
Do you then, as Navi, try and prioritize something else into the mid lane? Try and make sure this Tiny doesn't get good momentum behind himself?
no, you don't have to, because it's not like that's a concern in the beginning of the game. It's just later on, once the Tiny gets a little bit of farm, it's going to be easy for him to be able to open up on the Timbersaw. Like, I was very annoyingly kept saying Timber, Timber, Timber during the last pick, if you guys could hear that. And it's predictable because coL don't have a lot of lockdown. That's the one benefit.
Yeah.
Is if Dendi can get, maybe this is even like the rare hood game that I'll be okay with.
Yeah, no, or I mean, at the very least, a basic cloak.
Yeah.
But maybe the full-out hood. But that's the thing, right? I think the mid lane matchup here is so important in this, where if the Tiny is able to go through the laning phase all right, and he gets his relatively good time Blink Dagger, he can run around killing these heroes. He'll threaten the Timber Saw. He can get jumps on the supports easily. Even heroes like Slardar and Beastmaster aren't beyond getting popped necessarily with a +1. So, but the mid matchup is going to be hard. They don't have the rotational heroes from Complexity, so I think this is really like Dendi has to do well in the first 10 minutes of the game, and if he really starts scaling, if he survives through that dangerous time where the Tiny is his Blink Dagger crazy and he trying to run around and get kills, if he can survive through that period of time, I think he'll have a very good game. But that's more like 30 minutes in.
I wonder if you can also still scale when you've got someone like a Lich that can make Dendi's lane even harder. Like he already takes one creep off here at the start. Do you even keep the door lane here with Huntskin and Limp together?
I think it's fine. Just because the Crystal Maiden will do fine zoning out the Beastmaster. Anytime the board gets near you, you can just Frostbite it. And Lifestealer is one of the like best heroes at just killing the offlaner straight up, because you can't really contest. So if you can't really rotate, then you have to have a winning laning phase. I do like, by the way, what Swindles is doing. He completely just ditched this top lane and any possibility of it. Doesn't even go for the side camp. Just immediately goes to his own jungle.
It's funny after he tweets out about that kind of stuff. I actually talked to him when they're on their training day, and he's just looking back at the replays of newbies going, well, KP doesn't come back to level 4.
Yeah, there's
Maybe
no
this
reason
is the way to play the offlane.
If you saw MC's game earlier when he was playing, he was against some kind of duel lane. I can't remember exactly what it was. But there's no point in trying to contest. As a Tidehunter, you're not really going to have an ideal laning phase against these kinds of heroes, so why bother?
Yeah, every single time you see an offlaner, they're probably thinking about in their heads like, oh, maybe I can contest this lane. Like, if you have any doubts about whether or not you can contest, just don't. It's just much better to Iron Talon. It's much safer. We've seen it time and time again where you watch an offlaner kind of suffer in the laning phase, goes back for the Iron Talon, and you watch their mid-game progression. You're just like, what if he had an Iron Talon for the beginning? Maybe this game would be very different.
Downside for Swindles is now he's got Snako acting more like a bounty hunter, just trying to leech off any experience he gets.
It doesn't matter too much because he's still getting gold, right? So it's like Snako's being a non-factor and Swindles is getting progression still, even if his experience is slow. Doesn't matter too much.
I actually thought the Lich would have a little bit more influence on this mid lane. Like currently, Denny still managed to find 8 CS.
And because you're a Timber Saw, and there's no kill potential against you. That's the biggest thing that determines whether or not a mid hero is going to feel pressure to CS at all, is if there's kill potential. And Dendi with 2 levels of the reactive armor and the poor man's shields, there's no kill potential on him. Maybe when they hit level 3 on both heroes, they could maybe make a move for him, but if you don't instantly burst him, he's just going to heal up.
That seems like every single time Huntskin attacks Dendi, he actually gives more life than he takes.
Yeah, exactly. It's like the support period of harassing a Timber Saw is like in the first 2 levels. Past level 3, you're actually just hurting yourself oftentimes.
Yeah.
Notice the micro things that Timber Saw will always do, and this is why he's always going to be high HP, is he will routinely click on the enemy hero and draw the creep aggro onto himself to make sure he has that full reactive armor, and this is why it's unlikely that Complexity are going to be able to get the kill, even at level 3 when they've got those nukes ready to go, because he's going to be full HP, they don't pop him, reactive armor
Z-Freak might be in a little bit of trouble. That ball's going to get range to slow him down with a Sun Ray damage. The Frostbite up Snako, able to cancel it.
Nice
and Chessie makes a bit more of a buffer between himself as well as his weak CM.
Yeah, this bottom lane's going to be kind of annoying just because there's a Phoenix down here, but at the same time, the Tidehunter just continues to pick up levels. He's about to hit level 4. He's got boots and an Iron Talon. Snako hasn't done that great of a job of being able to zone him out, and things are okay. Like, this mid lane doesn't have to go exceedingly well. It just has to hold serve.
When do you think Snako is the one roaming as opposed to the Vengeful Spirit, who might actually have a little bit more kill potential with a hard disable?
I think you just give the early levels to the Venge just because you want her to get boots so that she has some sort of effectiveness, and Snako doesn't really mind what he's doing right now just because the Phoenix Egg isn't going to determine too much in the early game. Plus, they're going to eventually rotate him to be the hero that soaks up the solo XP, and that's where you want your Venge to be the hero rotating around later on.
That's when the Slardar or the Beastmaster goes into jungle, or the Slardar rotates out of lane, right? That's when Phoenix covers that.
Hostile, his first movement in for a fight. He's going to get avalanche tossed. Hostile very, very low. That last attack is just going to be be enough from Hanskin to reach it with the Timber Chain. Hanskin, the aggro now coming out from the Ancients. A little bit of trouble for him. Snako also dropping down low with that toss forward. Then he actually body blocks Snako unwillingly. So it ends up being a 2-for-1 trade-off in favor of Complexity.
That was very good for coL. They get their Tidehunter involved, more importantly. The Lich is a null death. He doesn't really care. He's still one of the higher level supports in the game. More importantly, you grab first blood. Like, that's all that matters in a situation like that.
Yeah, Dendy still not having boots, and obviously pre-level 6, you're not really impactful.
Swindle's dead.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, that's a lot of damage. With the control as well, maybe it isn't enough damage. Swindle's making his way back to tower, but Arstyle and Diddy Ra putting their bodies on the line. Another crush available, and the damage Swindle's down to 32, 20, back but to the tower. But it's still not enough. That control from Navi is just so good.
That's a death by 1,000 cuts if I've ever seen it. Just slowly but surely getting the damage in through the Kraken shell. But Swindle's, he's probably hitting himself. He's going like, why did I go to lane? I should have just kept Iron Taleting. I've learned this lesson before. Come on.
Yeah, it's the only rotation, right? You hit level 4, but you're not so safe.
It's the classic trap of there's nobody in this lane. I might as well do something. But it's something that you have to coach yourself out of as an offlaner because it looks tempting. And in the old offlane, you could get away with something like that, but nowadays, everybody is so on point.
Limp. Magic Missile's going to stun him up here. Denny right behind him, but Limp tossing him back. Doesn't really give a good Timber Chain option. And that means Denny cannot inflict the last point of damage. And even with the help of Z-Freak, Snako dropping down very low with the toss as well. He can't Icarus dive away. And Limp able to claim himself another kill.
That was sick. That was really well done by Limp. He doesn't panic at all. He manages to throw Denny back, who's opted to go for 2 levels of the Timber Chain early, which is pretty curious, considering most of the time you're going to level the Whirling Death against melees.
We saw that, did you see the builds earlier from Timbersaw? We maxed out Timber Chain.
Dandy. There's another avalanche toss. He can't chain up. He actually misses all the trees.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is what we were talking about, is the tiny, just the burst damage potential that he has. He doesn't really care about the reactive armor. The rest of the lanes are going fine. They might pick up a kill on Chessie at bottom, though.
Yeah, Chessie's definitely dead. Thought he could challenge General, but turns out the extra hero's there.
Technically, Z-Freak's able to pick it off, so he'll sacrifice himself. Very fire expended. Arstyle's still a little bit far behind him, but with the movement speed, okay, maybe that's going to be taken away by Z-Freak. Magic Missile's off cooldown, but Z-Freak makes it to the Fog of War, away from Arstyle, away from the Beastmaster Boar. The Boar's actually allowing him to dive in with the Wave of Terror. They got a little bit of vision and the stun, but it's not enough damage. He goes down to 11, and now Limp looking for a kill. He's chasing up after Arstyle. Snako's going to turn on the stun ray. He'll find himself a kill, and then straight TP out, while Limp still hunting for Arstyle, will not find him. They get away with this kill.
How's Phoenix the hero?
He just gets the stun ray, and the funny thing is that block actually somehow turns against them because then Complexity TP in. They don't actually get anything, so that rotation is completely null. Wasted time there.
They actually lose even more too, because that ward they just put down just got scouted out by General.
That's the thing about Phoenix is, my biggest gripe with the hero is just, he has the most impact. Sunray is an unbelievable ability. Dive gives you an escape mechanism that normal supports don't have. And more importantly, your egg is one of the more game-changing spells in Dota 2. Like, all 4 of your spells have utility. And you have to know that going into this game. Whenever you give up a hero like Phoenix, that's what you're walking into.
It's funny how, like, Chessie.
Yeah, they're going to roar him while he's in the middle of Rage. Arstyle's able to get the stun. And it's actually Axis at level 1 is the last point of damage to kill off that Lifestealer.
General's playing a great tournament. His Axe was insanely good this morning, and now he's gotten 2 different kills as the Beastmaster against a Lifestealer. That's huge because that's Complexity's like main tempo hero behind the Tiny. So he's already gonna have issues with Beastmaster and Timbersaw up against him.
And the big thing right now is, normally with the hero like Lifestealer, what makes him so amazing is you grab the armlet, you become ungankable. You create this...
Limp.
Yeah, here's the issue. This is the flip side of what it looks like when you gank an armlet strength carry that has some sort of escape mechanism or disable, is it just becomes nearly impossible to gank. Even though he walks away with 500 HP, you just turn off the armlet, turn it back on, and you're perfectly fine. And what are you supposed to do against that? They're doing this before, though, the Lifestealer gets to that point, and they're abusing it.
Swindles, that could have been an opportunity to try and go for a Ravage with those mass TPs in. Complexity are doing this a lot. They're adapting what feels like a little bit of like almost a newbie style in the way they're just over TPing to any kind of hint of danger. Limb's attempted to go for a toss play, but It's not going to happen.
We was just hoping to find Didira. Didira was farming right underneath the Radiant Observer Ward, so he knew he was low. There's just nowhere to really break that gap.
Not quite enough damage to one-shot that courier.
Dire's top tower is
Everybody
under
right now
attack.
is showing on the map right now from Complexity. They've got to be somewhat worried just because Navi can aim to make a play right now.
They're coming in from behind in that mid lane looking for an opening.
It's hard though, just because you don't want to dive a hero like Lich. If you can't instantly burst him down, he's got his Chain Frost, the Tiny's right there as well. Just unnecessarily risky. I think the better play right now is to get control of the safe lane again, push Z-Freak out of that lane, and create this like scare tactic around bottom. That way, by not showing a lot of heroes on the map, Navi can just take control of the map.
Yeah, especially when Chessie's already died 2 times in a row in the bottom lane. He's going to be hesitant to challenge the Beastmaster anymore. There's heroes off map. It just makes it even more the fear that maybe there's someone else behind the Beastmaster again, just like it was the last 2 times with the Venge.
Yeah, you see it right there.
Nobody's going for him.
Yeah, they're going for the 2 heroes, or the 2 heroes are up at top, the 2 supports. They get control of the safe lane. They want to make sure that this becomes a dead lane for them. And meanwhile, on bottom, Chessie just shows up again, so it's not even like you lost anything substantial. Oh, General.
Yeah, he just denies the board, whatever.
It's just too easy for him when he plays from the tree line. He's got the vision advantage completely.
Yeah, Complexity are just not getting anything done.
It's like, how long has this Ravage been up and we haven't seen Swindles with any opportunity to use it against Navi?
You don't want to force it though, because if you force it in a game like this, then Navi just gets everything on the map. That's the biggest thing is when you're playing against a Tidehunter, the threat of the Ravage alone, it's almost kind of like how Enigma's Black Hole works, where you just don't want to play against it. But as soon as it's expended, that's when you take everything that you possibly can if you didn't lose too much.
Does that then make like Navi's lamp a lot better just because of the lower cooldowns for their control ultimates? Even then, like the control like Magic Missile, Crush, you got all this stuff to work with.
Yeah, that's what makes Timbersaw such an amazing hero. Not just the fact that he's got low cooldowns, but because he's a farming hero that continues to scale into fighting. That's the most ridiculous part is it's not like he needs items to necessarily be good, but by utility of all his abilities, he's always going to be farmed.
Yeah, he's able to just instantly burst down waves, so he gets you a lot of control of the map by pushing out and
smoke movement.
Tough hero to gank as well.
Navi's coming down the bottom lane with 3 heroes smoked, but at the same time, the only person who's nearby is Chessie. So he's hovering around farming up some of the Harpies.
Flee Chessie.
Part of the problem here is they brought Digi Raw, so there's no one at the top lane anymore, and that's kind of painfully obvious to Complexity.
That's why Z-Freak's making this maneuver. Like he's coming out and checking the tree line to see if anyone's just hovering in the trees.
Yeah, if he feels comfortable enough to go out and do something there in that top lane, you know that Navi got to be making a move for the. And it's typical. Like the Dire will always invade the Radiant jungle. This is something that Blitz really explained to me a lot a couple patches ago.
Yeah, it still holds true just because it's impossible. If you just look at this area of angle, there's no way that you can get all of that control with 1 ward. And it's almost not worth it for Complexity to contest that area. The better thing to do is to consistently mirror whatever Dire does. So when they go for the bottom, then you send somebody top, you farm out the jungle. They made a 4-man rotation in, so you're naturally just going to get more on the map. But this is the unfortunate side effect, is that the Roshan can just happen just like that.
Yeah.
At least
Complexity
Complexity found out about it a little bit because the wave of terror hit the Observer Ward.
They can't take the fight.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
If they like were actually in a position to be nearby the Roshan pit, they could try with Ravage, but they're not even close, so it's kind of pointless. So instead, looks like they're going to go for the smoke and wrap up the top lane, see if they can catch Navi as they rotate to maybe save their tier 1 or try and gank the Crystal Maiden.
Is this a little too obvious though, when a Crystal Maiden is solo pushing your tier 1 tower?
No, because this is the Pile I Die play. It's if you spend time to kill a Crystal Maiden, then the thought process is that everybody from Complexity will show up at bottom then, and you've created space on the map, and you've wasted the Aegis timer, but unfortunately none of them are going to fall for it, and even more unfortunate is that Complexity didn't have ward vision. You almost always want to smoke to wherever you have ward vision, so you don't waste time like this, but they lay a ward down, which is the ultimate goal here, take down this tower, and just avoid fights because of the Aegis.
Navi are just going to go for the bully. They see Complexity. They can't waste too much time with that smoke. They can't just wait and wait and wait. So they eventually have to show up. They're going to take the tier 1, but Navi are already in a better position where they're threatening the tier 1 at mid. Now Complexity are the ones who have to back up and start getting in position. And if they put too much in the mid lane, it means bottom lane's open, or vice versa.
They at least have the initiation. With the Blink Dagger over on Lip now, you've got a mech on Swindle, so your team fight is getting a little bit stronger. But Navi again, this almost feels like a game of trades at the moment.
Yeah, it's okay though, because Complexity are fine with whatever trades that they can get at this
Radiant's
point. They don't really
bottom
want to
tower
get
is
into
under
these straight-up
attack.
fights because there's not a whole lot that they can do. You don't want to ever risk a fight against an Aegis that you don't have to, especially when you know that the enemy is going to fight back.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
This might be an opening, though. Limp is invis, he has that blink dagger, and more importantly, the Slardar is no longer there.
And General's
got a
also
free
already
kill.
quite low, so Avalanche toss, 4-4 combo, enough to instantly pop the Beastmaster.
That's a huge kill, too. 400 gold, you get control of your jungle. So what I'd like for them to do now is try to ward into your own jungle, de-ward wherever you think you can as well.
They're coming over to mid lane, so they want to kill over an Arstar with the open moves will slow him down. Sunray's there, but Limp with the blink dagger jumps up and Arstar swaps it out. Actually allows the toss of Snako to come back to the tier 1 tower into relative safety.
Yeah, you could tell he was going to go for that swap because the Icarus died, but then it just happened to work out that instead of Icarus died, there's also going to be a toss that he throws to the Vengeful Spirit, and they both get to safety. Happy coincidence
Dire's
for
middle tower is
Navi,
under
but
attack. Radiant's top
Complexity-
tower is under attack.
they're slowed down by the glyph. They're doing this the 5-man push.
Navi should def this.
You think so?
Yeah, there's no way that they should give up this tower. It's the most important tower in the game right now. It
Yeah.
slows down your smoke so much. If Complexity were to go for a smoke, then they almost always have to take this long path around the map, and it's hard for Navi to really match that.
Right.
You defend this mid tower at all costs. It's 865 HP. It's the most important tier 1 tower in the game.
They didn't even have to fully defend it. Like, Diddy Ra was able to add enough pressure to the tier 1 tower and top lane. Complexity rotated 2 heroes up to try and cut him off for the rotation, but Diddy Ra, quick TP to the tier 1 tower, joins up with the rest of his team, starts beating into that tier 1.
Radiant structures
And
are
where are you going to
fortified.
come in? Limp at least has a small surprise sitting inside of him. That's going to be the live stealer. They look over to Diddy Ra with the blink avalanche toss. It goes on to Arstar. He'll get his stun off. Snake couldn't keep him alive long enough. And now with Icarus dive into the Nova, you burn the Aegis Immortal over on the Slardar, but it's Complexity have enough to keep fighting. With a toss up Z-Free, it only really hits the creep wave with the Necro Box, who keep the chase going, but as General up near the ancient area, being battling up against 3, there's no one to really help out here. The tier 1 tower is still taken. Chessie will take out a double kill.
That was so well done by Limp. He throws his CM back to make sure she doesn't get hit by the egg and throws her into the creep wave. Then he manages to get the kill up in the north side, and that's exactly what you want to do. That mid-tier 1 tower, because of the Aegis, was secured. But again, you never just want to give up a mid-tier 1 tower for free, regardless of what side you're on. Like, I fully expect Navi, they've got the Timbersaw in position, he can just TP.
Is under attack.
The best part is, like, they still have Ravage, so Navi would actually be rather hesitant to go for this after they just lost a fight and Ravage is still up for Complexity.
Dire's
Yeah,
middle tower
and if
has
Dendi was in
fallen.
position, then he can just spam out his Chakram repeatedly, but opted to go for the jungle farm.
Radiant's
And
top tower is under attack.
just a little bit inefficient there.
Radiant's top tower has fallen.
Navi is still picking up some objectives across the map, so while Denny is jungle farming, the top tier 1 tower is taken out by Diddy Ra.
Tower is
He's
under
completed up his
attack.
blink dagger, which they did not have during the last fight.
Something. Looks like Lich is just kind of like... He was just aggressively moving forward into the enemy jungle.
It's like you want to put another observer ward there, but they've got one sitting like between where the tier 1 and tier 2 tower was.
You just look at the vision game right now. Complexity are in a really healthy position. They've got 2 wards exactly where they want them, especially this ward up here. It allows you to see so much, and it's kind of the counter to the Dire jungle, just because you get so much vision off of that. You can spot a lot of movement.
But it also becomes painfully obvious sometimes that it's warded up. So
Yes, it just got
they still have
dewarded.
that really good aggressive ward. I love this other ward that they have by the mid tier 2 because it still gives you some vision of the jungle, but also sees mid rotations as well. For example, art style here is going to be scouted out. Complexity are still getting a little bit run around the map by Navi, but it's fine as long as they keep getting pickoffs.
Well, they're going to try to 5-man smoke with the Infest into Limp, so again, Livestealer piggybacking on the back of the Tiny. They look for an opening, but they don't have vision. With Hanskin's Observer Ward, they see Dendi moving to the tier 1 tower. The Radiant scanners come up with their thing, and now, well, they find Artstyle. And Artstyle, okay, it's like General was sitting there waiting for him to swap. But it's not going to happen, so they pick up the VS for a 5-man smoke maneuver.
You notice too that they smoked to where they had vision. You always smoke to where you have vision. They saw with this ward that the Venge was there. They know that reasonably there's going to be no one for the rebuttal, and so you immediately beeline there. Even killing a Vengeful Spirit at this point is enough.
The downside of that is while the Vengeful Spirit is enough for him to make the gank okay, their side lanes being pushed in means they don't get any objectives in return. Then some of the power that the fact that Navi keep themselves really well spread out is that Complexity go for a 5-man smoke like that. They get a hero making it 4 versus 5, but they can't immediately challenge further because they have to deal with the split push.
That's a long jump in, going running Swindles. Nice. That Ravage gonna hit perfectly with the Chain Frost. Hanskin just trying to ensure there's enough damage to kill that Timbersaw off before he's able to suicide.
Okay, so what Navi should do right now, Bloodstone Timbersaw, he's gonna come back up, run at them, take that bottom tower at all costs.
Well, they're smoking, so they got the extra movement speed to try and catch up, but with the drum charge from Z-Freak, Complexity also with the movement speed. Back underneath the tier 2 tower, they rotate up. You almost have to go for a blind blink. Chessie actually stopping to farm up. Diddy-Ra come around the corner. He gets the crush shot. Chessie, the swap actually pulling Diddy-Ra out of the fight, putting Arstal into more trouble here. Nope, that was really the intended target. With the Icarus dive forward, a very defensive Supernova.
Yeah, he saw Limp and he got scared that they were actually going to be turned around on.
That was scary by Chessie though.
Yeah, he like
that was so greedy.
That's such a like carry mentality there to be like, oh, be efficient. Like, while we're backing out, let me farm this camp. But Dota's like too fast-paced for you to get greedy like that, I think.
Yeah. What you should do is you hide by this tier 2 tower, then you can farm either of these sides once you verify at least one hero on the map, because you know that Navi are going to run at you. As soon as you see 3 ultis expended, including the Ravage, you have to get something out of that. Remember what we talked about. As soon as the Tide Ravage is off is on cooldown, no matter what position you're in Navi, just run at them. Even if Dendy's not 100% respawned yet, you have to take that fight.
They're coming for Swindles now. The Dire Observer Ward makes sure they know exactly where Swindles is, farming up the camp, but he's completely unaware of this. So they jump in, amplification, and they come in forced, even committing the Roar to ensure this Tidehunter goes down.
Yeah, that's just sort of like mass rotation. How are you going to expect that? They just showed 4 heroes at bottom lane and took a tier 2, but the mass TPs from Navi completely catch Swindles off guard, and they need like probably at least 3 heroes to be able to make sure that hero does die. They get the kill. Pretty big one. Now they can spread themselves out, content that they've given themselves a lot of space. They can farm up for the next 30 seconds or so. The Ravage is going to be back up for Complexity at that time. So now it's cole's turn. Like the ball is in their court.
Jump less. Goodbye, Snake.
That damage is absurd, especially with that Echo Saber. You doubled it when you're in the air.
That's 500 physical damage to add on top of your big old magic damage burst.
It's like a physical Dagon.
It's the Complexity special. They love their Tidehunter. They're tiny.
They love their tiny. Yeah, they are.
Dire's bottom tower is under
Something about
attack.
Swedes.
Radiant's top tower is
Swedes and
under
rocks.
attack.
Yeah. General. He doesn't have his Necrobooks or his Roar available, so I don't know if he can really do anything against Swindles apart from add pressure. But it's enough to actually stop Complexity pressuring the tier 1 tower on bot lane, even when they had the numbers advantage and they have Ravage up.
Yeah, I think the main issue is for Complexity, whenever you show the Tidehunter like that, you have to pre-disengage. We saw VP unable to do that in their first game against Navi, where they show the Tidehunter, then they don't immediately back off. It's a huge mistake, because the Tidehunter represents your fight. He's such an immobile watermelon that wherever he goes, the rest of your team kind of has to follow, or at least has to follow his lead. So I think Complexity, you smoke into where you have vision. Unfortunately, it's going to be a little bit too late, but I still think this might be a fight that they can take if they expect Navi to split up.
Well, they have an Observer Wall, which gives them some half-decent vision, both on the back cliff as well as still on the bottom rune. So with the smoke, they come in close. They see Artstyle, but do you really want a 5-man smoke commit just to kill off a VS again?
Any kill is a kill at this point. Like, you don't want to waste this kind of smoke. Unfortunately, they're by the tier 1 tower. But you got to move to where you have ward vision, Toby. Like, this is where they have ward vision, so why not just kill the Venge and get out?
True, and even if they take the Venge, then you still got a tier 1 tower you can beat into. But
it's making the best.
When you got General and Dendy there, it's not so easy.
Yeah, it's making the best of like an unfortunate scenario. You know, that 5-man smoke. Yeah, you're not intending to go for that 5-man smoke and go for the Venge when you started off, but that's what it kind of turns into.
It's better than hiding your intentions.
Yeah.
You don't just smoke and say, oh, we weren't smoked.
Don't let them know we smoked, guys.
You still got another one in stock,
Act
right?
like you're neutraling. Act like you're neutraling.
We were farming together. No, but you always take what you can get at that point. And Complexity, they had 2 wards around that Roche area, and they were trying to prep it so hard, but Slardar plus Beastmaster and Venge, you're going to take that so quickly.
Yeah.
It seems like Navi's going to let this tier 2 tower go again. They've actually given space for General to almost reach his Blink Dagger. Dandy's also still building up. He finishes up, looks to be the Ether Lens.
General's doing a great job pressuring side lanes constantly. Him, like, oftentimes hiding in the trees and being able to get that extra information. If no one shows up, then he pops back out again. He's got that Necrobook 3. I think he had it probably around 20-minute marker. And this is keeping Complexity from being able to commit to more objectives, because they always have to rotate 1 or 2 heroes back. As soon as those heroes show, the Navi are good to contest any attempt at pushing.
Observer ward, you'll see Didira walk straight past him.
That was a risky ward, going for the placement on that. But I think it's because Complexity assumed that Navi are in their jungle. And in my opinion, that's a pretty reasonable assumption, just because you don't have a lot of vision there, and Navi all of a sudden just went missing.
Yeah.
Obviously, to us, it's obvious, but Complexity had no idea that Navi were just waiting for the smoke to run out.
So they just needed information. But Navi now are in a great position. If BKB is completely done, you actually got Artstyle, who looks to be the man building into the pipe for his team.
I don't think... I think Navi, with the BKB pickup now, are in really good control of the game. And there's still the fear of, like, Complexity, and they've got the Tidehunter, and there's this Tiny who can burst people down, but I think that they just now go for objectives themselves, and I'm not sure if Complexity will be able to fight back as this game goes later, too.
Well, the only objectives really left is the other tier 2 towers, the ones in mid and top. If you want to try and push these in, Swindles is standing on the front lines, try and slow it down. Arstyle's now going to make his way forward as well. With that level 2 swap, the range is something that really should be respected at this point.
They're showing the CM at top. They're trying to get somebody to come back.
That's going to be Didira.
Goodbye, Z-Freak.
Can Didira actually chase him down the hallway? Z-Freak makes a break for the trees. Didira, okay, he's going to get the crush. The Sun Ray's coming in as well, so Z-Freak did his job.
Yeah, he knows it. He's like, my life for the tier 2.
He actually managed to pick up his Blink Dagger just before he died too, so there was no money lost for a Crystal Maiden.
Yeah, it's actually
she still has more net worth than the VS, but Hanskin gonna lose out a little bit here with a Timber Chain forward. The list just gets disintegrated. Limp's BKB will protect him for now, but Arstar's still here. Remember, they can swap him back if they want to, which is exactly what they do. Now looking over to Limp, Arstar, where's that stun? Chenzi raged up. He's got no real target to go for, so he just throws it at Swindles. When the jump comes in, General's right there again with the Timber Chain forward. Swindles and Chenzi being controlled up. Didira looking for any kind of amplification. They need more damage to come. They've already taken 3 heroes. Swindles, they're splitting up their targets. Now Navi, Didira's gonna be moved over. The Blink's available, but there's no mana for a crush, so he just amplifies, blinks forward, and allows Tendi to do the work underneath the tier 3 tower. Complexity lose 4 for the cost of a VS.
Will, do you think he ever should have expended Ravage there?
I think if you were going to do it, you had to do it in the initial go.
Yeah.
And that would have been worth it, because he probably could have saved a Tiny, but it's that split-second hesitation. I think there are 2 situations where he could have used it, but he hesitated for, it was like that quarter of a second even, that made it pointless to do it at that point.
Yeah, and it does go to show, like, what Blitz is talking about, how important that Ravage is. There's a reason that Swindle was pump faking it so many times, because he knows, like, he sees these scenarios where he's like, it's not quite the Ravage that we really need. If he expends it there and they only get, like, a support kill or something and not really get much, then Navi are going to go super aggro into you, especially since they still hold on to that Aegis.
Yeah, I think that's the cue for Navi to go high ground if you waste the Aegis like that.
Yeah.
Swindles probably should have used it in one of the first 2 pump fakes that he immediately did, but if you weren't going to do it at that point, it's better to just die, because Navi knows that it's still up, and it gives you some hope still into the game. But Navi have done a very good job of controlling the pace, especially with these Aegises, and that's exactly what Dire Slardar affords you, is that even with Complexity having ward vision around there, they did it so quickly.
And that item from Timber is something that I was kind of like waiting for, because now you've got the split push of the Beastmaster who can threaten buildings, and now you've also had the Timbersaw who's able to very rapidly push down waves. He just chakrams and Whirling Deaths and the creep wave is gone. And he's still able to be a part of the fight thanks to the Boots of Travel. This is making things very much a nightmare for a Complexity, where they've got this 5-man. They want to take the fight sometimes, but they just can't, because they're always threatened on the side. Even now, the Sardar's doing it, and he just has like the physical damage aspect of it.
I'd really like to see, I think I'd still want to see a Blink Dagger on Swindles. because most of the time that Force Staff's going to be used for his teammates, and he still needs to be in a good position to get the Ravage off, especially against a Phoenix and a Timbersaw. Like, if he can get those two heroes before they can get going, especially Phoenix.
And Complexity are definitely, they're down right now. They need that sort of like amazing Ravage to get them back into the game, and you're not unlikely to get it, let's say, with just a Force Staff. You need the full Blink surprise initiation.
Yeah, I think coL are just kind of tired of this right now.
Navi's ready to fight. Complexity, Swindle's on the front line. Arsenal actually swaps Chessie in underneath the T1 tower. The Ravage will blow out, hitting heavily onto 4 with the Lich ulti as well.
What an ult!
Across the BS and let it go. Z-Freak all over Navi. The crush will be there. Diro will finally take care of it. But Dendi still alive and kicking with that chakram. Is making a difference. Testing it away. The point turn. Diro, the crush is available. He needs to get it down. He can't do it. He's alive.
Unbelievable.
But now he actually has to retreat back to the tier 2 tower. The chakram will fly with him. Seneko also sitting on the side, the last 2 surviving members of Navi, but the oldies hit so sweetly good from Complexity.
Oh man, I mean, it wasn't like, I got it, like the ultimate was perfectly timed. Right as the Slardar comes in, it just works out so well for Swindles. Right as he blinks into it, he gets hit by the Ravage. Then you have this amazing follow-up from Z-Freak with the blink that he managed to pick up after he split pushed so many times. That blink wins them the fight because the freezing field did so much damage.
Yeah, and on top of that, the armlet toggles, the Force Staff saving Chessie at 1 hit.
Yeah, another good play by Swindles.
So many different things went well for Complexity there that, I mean, to be honest with you, they probably should lose that fight if you play that over 10 times, but Complexity just straight up outplayed them. There's no other way to put it.
And that's exactly what Complexity needed to be able to get back in this game. But just one of those kind of fights isn't enough. They need another one to really take control of the game again. They're just kind of like getting by with a fight like that. They need another fight next time Ravage is up. That's another 60 seconds. So that should be around the time that Roshan is available. Both teams are going to start setting up for it soon.
It's a long spawn timer though, so we might see a lot of delays of teams just facing off around the pit.
I mean, that's good for coL. They're kind of scared that, you know, Roshan is up right now. And they're like, well, there's nothing we can do about it if so.
It's at least easy for Navi having the Beastmaster. They'll know the second he is up, even if it does take a while thanks to General.
You absolutely cannot give up the next Roshan if you're Complexity. You
no way.
Have to take that fight. That's where the next Ravage is meant to be expended. It's just too risky to give up an Aegis and a Cheese to a team that features a Slardar. If he gets the Aegis in a fight like that, imagine.
So this all comes down to the shot calling of the 2 captains at that point. When they smoke, how they rotate over, and that will enable either team to be able to get the better initiation, which most likely wins the fight, grants one team the Aegis, and then that team will take control.
Yeah. Unfortunately for Complexity, they don't have any ward vision around this area, and Navi are free to play, more or less, just because they have a ward up here. They've got a ward on this north side of the map too, so they know that if Complexity is going to go up there to go for the split push. And I think the proper move for Complexity right now is just to get outside your base, smoke up, get ward vision down if you can, check for Roshan, and pick up a kill if you can, and camp that area.
I think they need a gem as well.
Like they just drew a line to go directly to Roshan on the back of this 5-man smoke.
Do they have a ward? Yes, they do.
They've got one on the lane.
That's all you need at this point.
Well, they find General. General is currently AFK.
Oh, no!
Hanskin.
Force Staff him forward.
He didn't attack. General's still on the run. He can't blink for 6 more seconds, but they're on the wrong direction. He's going to run over to the Observer Ward, and now they see where he went. They caught a glimpse of Arstyle for a moment, and General hawks up, makes a break for the trees, but he's blinked off cooldown. General again stops moving, and this means that Limb will at least find the kill. He'll trigger up the Necro books, but that just becomes money for Complexity.
Yeah, he was so confident that he had broke free from that. But
meanwhile on bot lane, Dendi is forcing it in. Up on top lane, you got Didira and Seneko who are reaching the tier 2 tower. So even if Roshan was up, which he's not for 30 more seconds, like, you're not going to get an opening. And Swindles is currently dying to Sunray.
Oh, but they might have Dendi here. The freezing field gets dropped. They force out that suicide.
This is just uncharacteristically sloppy.
Didira's coming down to that bottom lane, chasing up after Chessie. Arstyle's right behind him, but Didira, okay, he's going to break off. There's a lot more support coming from Z-Freak and Limp. So
yeah, they've already made a couple mistakes. Don't panic and make more mistakes by trying to get ground back into your hands. Like that would be very foolish if Didira blinked forward in a desperate attempt to get a pick off.
Okay, both teams should know that Roshan's up now. We've basically hit the 3-minute mark. So He's been up for a while, but they know he's up.
I'm still really surprised that Dendi decided to go for that move. It just felt a little bit unnecessary.
Yeah.
Like, you're split pushing Timbersaw. All you really have to do is push in the lanes, and your right-click damage isn't going to really add anything.
You don't right-click the tower as Timbersaw. It's just not something you do. You burst down the waves, but you don't do the dirty work yourself.
Well, speaking of dirty work, it's going to be trouble for Snako.
Okay, you should go for the Roshan right now for complexity. That's your best Rosh hero.
Supernova is insanely good around Roshan Pit because of all the cliff areas. That hero.
In. Dendi's on his way. He might try and slow it down with the Chakram.
Snako should buy back right now as soon as they spot this.
Well, here she flies in.
You've got to decide if you're going to commit.
Well, the decision is to still leave one person in the pit, but it looks very apprehensive about what they want to do. The Dire Observe Ward, do they actually see? They don't. Oh, they caught a glimpse of Didier Ra, thanks to the positioning of Hanskin and the cutting down of the trees. And they're bailing out. They're not going to finish up Roshan.
Okay, I was with Blitz on that one. He should have bought back, but he actually makes the correct read that Navi with Chakram harassment would be enough to scare complexity back.
Is trying to bait an engagement here?
He's got the whole team behind him, so he knows he's safe.
But he's also got all of Navi, apart from the Phoenix, just hovering around him too.
Yeah, they can't burst him down, though. That's the beauty of Kraken Shell. Like, he's not even afraid of losing his mana from the Necronomicon fast enough. He'll just always have the Kraken Shell that wakes himself up, and he'll be able to get off a Ravage if they fully engage on him. That's why Navi, even though he's so far forward, they don't even try and touch him.
Everything is about this Roshan right now. There's no reason for complexity to farm anywhere else on the map. What Didier Ra is doing right now is he's trying to push in this top wave and make somebody from complexity come back, but that would be the wrong idea. If complexity go back and show a core hero, then Navi will TP the Slardar back and immediately go for the Roshan.
Yeah, this is the dire side advantage, right? He can do that because he could TP to the tier 2 and they've got close proximity to the pit. Complexity make that kind of play. They rotate all the way to top. There's no easy way to get back to that Roshan pit fast enough. They don't have the heroes for it.
They don't have
Some heroes can do it.
General's really looking for a target on bot lane. Like it's like he's trying to find out also where complexity are.
Now they have full ward vision, and unfortunately complexity don't have any idea that they're being spotted this entire time. They're going to send Swindles up at top, but I think you just force in this wave and immediately come back.
Yeah, look at that. He's already TPing as the Slardar.
Run Swindles.
They're going to go straight to the pit.
Like this has to be done faster. You can't stay for the entirety of the wave. You just stay there to force.
Navi's hunting the kill. They haven't gone into Roshan yet.
Yeah, because they know that Tidehunter is immediately making the right play. You don't push out another wave. You just make sure that it's not hitting your tower, then come back.
Fresh item for the fight is going to be the Aghanim Scepter up for the Tiny and a BKB for Z-Freak. Sometimes we forget this is one of his biggest signature heroes. And now with a level 3 freezing field, it did a lot of work on the bottom lane.
They have so much better vision though on the side of Navi.
Lim's starting to burn inside that Sunray. Force Stamp's going to break him free of it. So Snako will break off, and now Didier Ra is going to enter into the pit.
They can't do it though. Complexity are right there.
It's like they're trying to bait complexity over, and with a double Chakram, Swindles loses almost half of his life just from the double Chakram from Dendi.
One of the Radiant things to do when you're contesting Roshan Pit is oftentimes to push mid in, and that's the opposite of what Dire side do when they push out top. You, as the Radiant side, try and push mid in, and you cut the enemy team off from their base. Back.
Down for a minute, but he does have buyback available. The TPs are coming in from Navi. They need to defend their base with an Aghanim Scepter on Limb. It won't take long for complexity to rip through this tier 3 tower, but where's your initiation? General jumping forward. He's got Raw, but they want to go on Limb. The BKB triggers, however. Didier Ra goes for the crush. He gets the back to it. The Ravage will pop off, but when the Chakram's down, then he's done enough damage. Z-Freak's going to let that ultimate go, but Didier Ra, the physical damage is too much. Though Icarus dive forward, fighting Hanskin over in the tree line. Again, this damage is just so brutal. The Infest into the Dark Troll Summoner. That won't live for long, but Jesse tries to trap hunt Didier Ra. The bash is there. He can't actually TP himself out. It was the only thing that would have stopped him. And it's a team wipe in favor of Navi. A triple kill for Dendi. And the choice, do they go down to the bottom lane? There's only 2 buybacks available for complexity. Or do you finish Roshan now?
I think you pressure.
Yeah, you just go.
TP's coming.
You force buybacks. And if they buy back, then you can back up and do Roshan. That's good enough.
Yeah, you know that complexity, it's really unlikely that they're going to be able to buy back with 5 heroes here.
Yeah.
So if they even buy back with 1 or 2, you've done your job. Dendi, who we laughed at, but now he's got a DD. He's got a DD.
Yeah, he's chopping down that tower like a real lumberjack.
So much damage. He learns how to do lumber, not stone.
Complexity are getting close to the point where They can buy back, but
Radiant's bottom barracks
it's such a
are
short
under
cooldown that you're just going to lose the Rex anyways.
Yeah.
Save it, but this is going to mean Navi just back up and go for the Roshan instead.
And Navi also switching the racks. They started on the move to the melee after starting on the range racks. And so they get out, Limp, able to get the avalanche. They're going to toss Dendy back, but he's already got Timber Chain available. A long way away, Swindles does not have Ravage up. And Didiran's got a choice. He can potentially turn here. The chakra from Dendy just trying to hold Limp as well as Swindles at bay, as he can chain away a long, long way. So Navi strike first when it comes to the battle of the racks.
Blitz, what did they do wrong there when Complexity went for that 5-man? Because the idea is right. You push down mid, right, in order to force Navi back inside of their own base. Then you have some control of the Roshan pit. What did they do wrong?
I think it's just hard for them to take a fight around that Roshan area. So what they were trying to do is just force some kind of decision from Navi, but they all in committed for a tower. And they don't have the best heroes to follow up is the thing. They've still got 3 melee cores. So whenever you're hitting those towers, you're pretty hard committed to these engagements. And Swindles wasn't able to get an ideal Ravage off. Plus, when they started to help their Tiny, he was already at like 300 HP. Once you lose your Tiny at that point, the fight is unwinnable, but unfortunately for Complexity, they don't have great disengage mechanics against a Timbersaw and a Slardar.
You kind of almost need like Blink Dagger on the Lifestealer.
I don't think so. I think you just keep building damage and hope that your Tiny doesn't just get bursted like that.
Can you actually do that though? Like, because you've still got a double roll coming out for the Beastmasters. All these immune targets. Hello, top laning. Goodbye with the suicide.
Dendy's like, fine. You want to use all those ultimates?
Hey,
Alt F4.
At least Z-Freak knew he didn't need to use the BKB. Holds it at 9 seconds for now.
Wow.
But yeah, but you got the...
Come on, Toby. Z-Freak's good enough to know that Timbersaw doesn't have a disable.
I'm looking at the light side, bro. Always look on the bright
that
side
CM
of life.
BKB just in case. Gotta waste those valuable 9-second charges.
Oh, man.
Okay, this game though, I don't know. It's one of those situations where Chessie does need some kind of help gap closing, but at the same time, if he decides to go for a Blink Dagger, he just doesn't do enough raw damage right now. He needs the AC, he needs the Basher before he's able to do much.
Artstyle's going for the swap pickoff.
He's got the ward inside the base to allow him to do so.
Yeah, he's got a Force Staff to get back down from the cliff area too.
Problem is it's still only level 2 without need.
Yeah, they don't want that hero.
I don't think you want Swindles.
No, you don't want Swindles. Nobody wants Swindles.
I would really like to have seen a gem pickup from either side at this point.
I think Complexity should have done it so much sooner.
One. It's on the courier at the moment, but it's flying up to the secret shop with like underneath the Dire Observer ward.
Yeah, but if they had it for that Roche area, for example, like Navi knew when they were coming in because they had 3 wards set up, you have to know that Dire is going to do that. If you allow any of the Dire wards to stay up at all, it just becomes so hard for you to fight around that area.
Hostile, there's just swap, he goes on Limp, but Limp very quick over on the blink. Able to get himself back inside. The walls, the radiant base, Swindles jumps out, gets the Ravage on General and Hostile. Hostile dropping down low. Did you arrive to get the stuns, keeping Chessie away, but not for long. He's able to bring down the captain of Navi, and now Swindles still low. The stun race kicking out after the Nako already stuns up with a supernova, but Danny comes back into the fight, gets himself a double kill. Limp fighting strong, but you got Aegis Immortal plus Cheese. Aegis gonna burn. She's still available for Danny, but if he keeps being stunned up, he may not get it off, but he gets it off. Then with the chakrams, the double on Limp, with the crush of Mini Ra, and a triple kill for Danny. Chessie gonna try and man fight through all of this. Diddy Ra's ready to go again. 3 seconds till Blink Dagger's back off cooldown. The double chakrams fall, but they buy back on the tiny Chessie. So nobody goes down. The whirling death is there from Danny. An ultra kill for him. He's staring down Z-Freak. The chakram, the second one's able to reach. The first one, however, does not, so there's not enough damage to kill off that Crystal Maiden. And Navi will retreat for now. For now.
Oh, they already did the serious damage. They forced the buyback out of the Tiny, and they didn't actually lose the Slardar in return. Lifestealer. Chessie trying to turn that because the call was probably there from Limp. Like, I'm going to buy back, turn, but he turned just, I think, a bit too early. And Slardar was able to man fight him and doesn't even lose his life for it. Rough times, like, I like the idea of what Swindles did there, where he like actually tried to be the initiating force for once rather than just responding and waiting. He at least tried to get the Ravage to win the fight. It only caught 2 heroes. If they'd killed the Beastmaster, like Chessie went in and jumped the Beastmaster, if they managed to pop it, it was so close. He was on like maybe 300 HP. He turns around, gets the roar off. That doesn't happen. The fight actually probably looks a lot different because then they burst it down a hero and then Chessie can turn to focus something else.
I don't know about that because that Timber is was still really strong.
Yeah.
And that Slardar is still...
At the very least, they might be able to retreat back to the base after killing that hero.
I'd really like to see Didyara get a heart right now. I think that's the item that just makes things nigh impossible for Complexity to fight under. It allows him to continue these base pushes and continue to apply pressure. They know that the Tiny doesn't have buyback now. The Tidehunter Ravage is going to be up, but even then, he still doesn't have a Blink Dagger, which makes it easy for Navi to almost always get the BKBs off. Like a Tide slowly water sliding in, you're almost always going to see that coming.
So Navi just need a small opening, and maybe they can take a second lane of Rax. For now, Complexity, like, they hope that Limp can do what normally Limp does for Complexity in these situations. Find one hero out, just get that quick pick and move on to another target.
Those quick picks are getting harder and harder to get, though, as everyone's tanking up massively. Even General.
Hey man, even Dendy's walking around with casual infused raindrops. No extra burst against this Timber early on.
Is Axe Beastmaster legit?
I don't think so, but you're running out of
tanks him up some more.
Yeah, you can get Travels. You can get a Lotus Orb. Lotus Orb's always sick.
Yeah, I like Lotus Orb a lot.
Imagine if you could counter that Lich Chain Frost. Okay, Complexity, I like this play mainly because they know they're in a really bad situation and they have to make something happen, and I would almost always rather just see a team play for the win rather than not to lose.
Yeah, you want to go out fighting, not just sitting in your base and slowly getting chipped away by Navi as they gain more and more of a gold lead over you.
I mean, I think Navi's going to destroy them in the fight, but I still think you should do it. Make something happen, guys.
You gotta try something. Play for the win. Don't play for the lose.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you can't push for a draw in Dota, right?
Don't play for the lose. Of course not. Play not to lose. Don't play not to lose.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
All right.
They at least have vision of one hero. They see General. The Observer Ward is able to give him that, but Limp, Chessie's gonna pop out, but General just blinks away.
None of you realize, like, none of these heroes they can pop. Even the Vengeful Spirit, because she has Pipe and drums, 1700 HP, and she's a Vengeful Spirit who has great strength gain, is not easy to just one-shot.
Dude, what do you
the
mean?
Only hero is Phoenix.
No, I'm pretty sure even the Beastmaster is easier to kill than this Venge. Dude, this guy's got 11 armor, a 4-staff, a wand, and drum, and Pipe.
So it's only the Phoenix, and the Phoenix is never going to be close enough for them to be able to get a tiny initiation.
Yes, but that Phoenix has a Shiva's card.
He actually has 1800 HP as well.
Yeah. No, I think the easiest target to kill is this Beastmaster.
Yeah.
Not even kidding. He's got the least armor.
We'll see. Maybe he can get he completes the Ags. That'll be a little bump up in strength, in HP, rather.
So is a two-man gang squad not enough? Like, just having both, like, Limp together with Chessie, is this just not enough of a combo? Even up against these huge heroes?
You're just running out of options if you're Complexity. That's what it is. That's why
Navi...
Navi...
just a 5-man, but you can't do that either because Navi keeps split pushing you. They're giving you a 5-man.
Navi's dire side with Slardar. They can just keep waiting out these Roshans.
Yeah.
You saw how crucial the last Aegis was.
They may have had an opening. Didyara's moving down. Swindles forced off in 1 second. Amplifications up. Swindles turns, gets hit. In fact, now in a well hurt. He lets the Ravage go, but he's already dropping down low. Hostile. The Nova is here as well, and Swindles caught the wrong side of the tracks. They're going to toss Didyara back over just to help them kill off Swindles.
Bye-bye, Swindles.
Extra bash. So it's a 1-for-1 trade-off, but you blew your Ravage. Your Tidehunter is down. And you lost one of the tanky 5 heroes of Navi.
That is the biggest thing, is that even with his buyback available, Navi's not going to care. He doesn't have a refresher. They have so many tanky heroes. The only spell that was stopping them whatsoever was that Ravage. I think you just go for it now.
Navi just expertly suffocated Complexity into a fight like that. It was just inevitable that Complexity were going to get into a situation where they have a bad fight, where they lose their Ravage and they lose their defense of the high ground.
They've got the biggest ultimate of all, man. Z-Freak has now got more net worth than Swindle Balance. And he's picked up an Ag in center on the Crystal Maiden.
BKB Ag CM, as long as she doesn't get bashed, she can kind of do a lot of damage.
Or roar.
See, this is the true 3 position of Complexity.
All right, here we go.
Now they jump in. The jump, can they do it? There goes the ultimate. And Dendy, well, he's going to get roared up, acting out. Well, he's going to Timber chain himself out. Chessie is locked in with Didyara. Limp looking to do the damage, but Didyara can finally open up, toss out and outside of the base. So it's still only Swindles the step, but Denny's entering in. Chessie has to armor toggle Denny in a little bit too deep now. Can't find a perfect chain out, but Alstar's dropping in the swat, the real carry. Z-Freak right underneath Navi. He'll get Timber chained to death. And they just beat through the base.
Aghanim Scepter dropped here.
Yeah, where the hell is that? What is he talking about? Either way, it's gonna be, in they go. Shiva's guard up, try and stop this chase down. The crush will be there on Limp. The force up buying him to space as Zira also getting stunned up, but it's not enough. That's 100 seconds without your Tiny, and Navi's going for the GG push. The tier 4 towers are the ones that are exposed, or do they actually finish it up properly? They're gonna go in for Megas and wait for Complexity to come out and try and fight the double chakra spawn. Chessie battling against Zira, but the Nova is down. Swindles can't take care of that one. General still trying to body block and keep them in range of the Supernova. It's not going to happen. The swamp's there. Arstar sacrificing himself to make it work. With the Sunray, Swindles is burning at the moment. It's a Tidehunter. It's a fish out of water.
There is no escape.
Locked inside the
We bought the Ghost Scepter.
Maybe now. Sameko gets a bite. No, he cannot.
Douse that Firebird.
He's going to go down. Navi still trying to finish up the racks. The buyback is from Swindles. They are fighting until the last man. They want to make sure that Navi know they're not going to get this game one of this best of 3 easy. Well, I say that. General's now here with an Aghanim Scepter. We're ready to go for the Roar. The implications on Chessie and Denny. He's already back to full life. There's the Roar on Chessie. The double shark drums. The Lich holding going to bounce around Chessie. He's going to toggle. Going to leech the life. Duran still trying to man fight this. He gets a ton on Chessie, but is it going to be enough? No, it's not. Duran's actually going to go down. Now General isolated by Z-Freak. They're going to lose the Beastmaster as well. Navi, they got 4 heroes on the sideline. At least 2 of them have buyback, and they have both the mid and the bottom racks and tier 4 towers dropping. There's still a lot of stuff going the way of Navi, but they gave away a lot to Complexity then too.
Roshan's up. If they actually take it, get Aegis cheese, Complexity maybe have a very small chance.
With the help of the Tiny, yeah.
We'll see.
Tiny just can't get to the front lines fast enough.
See if they can force a buyback. Because that gives you an end game, like a potential end game scenario for 5 minutes. If they can force a buyback out of an important hero like the Slordar, and then they back up, they somehow kill him in the next 5 minutes, all of a sudden you know you're 4 versus 5 for a full minute and a half. Maybe
they're running.
Maybe you can make your dreams come true.
I think Complexity are looking for exactly that.
The thing is, you can't force the buyback on the Slaughter. It's too hard. The Timbersaw will just keep chakraving you out. And you don't want to go high ground against that Phoenix. He's just going to keep sunraying. You don't want to commit BKBs just to go for the tower. Instead, go for the Roshan. It's still one of the last plays that you have remaining. Navi are still in a really good position just because they didn't have to commit very much. They still have the buyback available on a lot of their heroes.
Navi's coming to the pit, but they're way too late. Roshan already belongs to Complexity. They got cheese on the ground, they give it to Swindles. He drops his TP scroll as they find an opening as Chessie moving forward. And Denny just trying to chain himself away. The swap. Wow, that pulls Chessie in deep. The rage gonna wear off. They're moving over. Where's that roar from General? There it is with the Necro Books. Chessie won't have a lot of mana to work with. In fact, no life. 88 seconds on the sideline. Buyback Marvel Hanskin locked down by that Nova. And in fact, Snake will come back to finish the job. He actually he blades him down. He bought it and killed him instantly.